Welcome to Microsoft PowerPoint 2019 PowerPoint Application, or Lesson 4. This assignment is designed to be the fourth lesson in a series, and it will already assume that you know how to do pretty much everything in the list. So if you look at the assignment, it has a list of everything you're going to do, and most of this you have already learned in lessons 1 through 3. But I look at this lesson as an application. It's a accumulation of what you have been learning, and you're going to create something really, really fun. You're going to be creating a video game or a maze using PowerPoint. So we're going to be using PowerPoint in kind of a different way, not the traditional way where we're presenting information. We're going to turn it into a game. So this is just one way that you can use some of these fun options. In your assignment, it will not tell you step by step how to do it. It is an application. It's expected that you know enough about PowerPoint that you can figure it out. But this video, I'm going to show you how to do it, how to create a maze and everything. But in your assignment, it's just going to give you a list of all the requirements that you need to fulfill in order to get a good grade. You'll also notice that there is not a solution video for lesson 4. If you can follow this very video to get ideas of how to create yours, but everyone's will be individual and there is no solution video. There are a few new things in this one, new features we haven't learned yet, but they are minor. We're going to learn how to use removing a mouse click. We're also going to learn how to do a rollover using the action button. So those are kind of the two new things. There's really not a lot else that's used, but you will be using stuff you've learned before in kind of a different way. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You're going to want to open up a blank page in PowerPoint, and you want to add blank slides. So add a bunch of new slides. So you have 6 slides when you're done. They should all be blank. Okay. On slide 1, you have your title. Slide 2, 3, and 4 are going to be your levels. And then 5 and 6, actually you probably want to make those be a title only. Okay. 5 and 6 are a title. And so on title 5, you're going to type in "you lose." And number 6, you're going to put in "you win." Now we'll make these look really nice later. So you're going to be creating a maze. I'm going to show you right now what the maze is going to look like when I'm done. So I'm going to actually create the maze in this lesson, and then I'm going to go back and record it so you can see what this is going to look like when I'm finished. So you'll see that I have my title. I can click on my level. And then as I go, this is my mouse is like my guy. That's the thing that I'm trying to get through. I'm trying to get my mouse to where it says exit. So there's obstacles in my way, and if I push them, it sends me to the "you lose" slide, and then I have to go back and start again. So I kind of have to make sure that I can get around, all of my obstacles, and it can be very difficult to do because if I push the wrong thing, I lose. So I might want to slow down on this one. I'm going way too fast. There we go. I got past it. This one's blinking. I'm trying to get past it. Okay, and so that's kind of how it's going to work. And it's a little maze. Oh, it got me. Okay, so that's how you do it. And then when you get to this one, I can push. Oh, there the little bear appeared. And then this one I want to push it to open it up. And now I can go to level 2. Okay. Okay, so it looks really fun, right? I'm hoping you're really excited about making that. So you're going to make one exactly like mine if you want, but I don't know why you would. This is one where I really like to see you come up with your own thing. And what I want you to do first is think of, what is my theme? You really want to have a theme, something you can come up with that each of the slides has something to do with that theme. So I could say, maybe like I've seen students do an escape from jail. They had it look like they were in a jail and they were trying to escape from prison, and they were each different levels of the prison, I've seen kids do all kinds of things. So I want you to think of what your theme is going to be, and it can be anything that is interesting to you and fun to you. So I want to show you an example of one that I made a few years ago, and you can tell it's old because it's not a full screen, but I wanted to do one with a Disney theme. And so I did one for each of these Disney princesses, and I made the crown is where you click. So if I want to play the bell level, then I click on this, and this, oops, I messed it up already. So I actually have, if I touch the wrong thing, it's going to send me off. It's going to tell me I lost. Okay. But I have to get on the ladder. So I have to get my cursor. My cursor is my person, right? And then I click the book to open it up. There's Gaston in my way. And I have to make sure he's always in my way. Oh, he got me again. Okay. Can be tricky. Once you've done it once, this stuff's already been triggered. So it's a little easier, but it's pretty tricky, right? So you're trying to get through that way. Or I can go to this one. She's got to climb the tower, right? So there's a whole bunch of different things in here. This one's kind of fun. I actually made this one really, really hard. You guys do not have to go this complicated. This one's really difficult, but it's kind of fun. But I have little doors I could open, and there's things I have to avoid. Oh, there, he got me, right? So these are all different things you can do that are having a theme makes it really fun to have different levels that match each theme. So you want to be thinking about a theme that you could find pictures for that would make it really fun to do. So there, I got my dingle hopper. Oh, scuttles in my way. All right, so that's one that I made a long time ago. So you want to be thinking, what theme do you want to create for yours? And that is a requirement that it has a theme. Now, although I just told you a theme is required, I'm not going to do one for the example here. I don't want to take any ideas from you, but also this is just me showing you how to do each thing. And so I don't want to get caught up in finding the perfect picture and getting everything perfect. So you've kind of seen one that looks like a theme, but for this example, I'm just going to be really basic. So I'm going to put in my title, Megan's Maze. You can call yours something that has to do with your theme. Make sure you put your name in it. Okay, and then slide 2 is going to be my level 1, level 2, level 3. It does have to have 3 levels. So the first thing that you're going to do is create your buttons that tell you where to go. So you're going to go ahead and do insert and create a button. And I'm just going to do a little circle, draw my circle, and this is going to be level 1. Okay, and I'm just for mine, even though I'm not doing a theme for the example, I am going to do a color theme. So I'm going to have each level be a different color. So I'm going to go into my design and choose a color scheme because I really like it when I don't have to think about making things match. So there's my color. I'm going to go ahead and add a bevel to it, make it look nice. So make your shape look the way that you want it to look. Make it look nice. They definitely put a bevel on it so people realize it's a button that they can push, right? So once you have that and you've designed it the way you want it, you might also want to pick a color, like a font. And again, you could go into View and Slide Master and choose a font theme just so that when you do fonts, it's already chosen and you don't have to think about it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do a font. All right, so there's my level 1, and I'm going to copy and paste that and then paste it again, level 2. Now, where you put them is really going to matter. And so you might move these around a little bit later. I'm going to give them different colors. So I'm going to make this one blue, and I'm going to make this one purple. Okay. Get rid of my outlines. Okay. So where you put them is where it's going to start. Okay. It's the starting point for your maze. So if I stick it in the middle, that means my cursor, when I click on it, is going to be in the middle, and I have to work my way around. So it's probably not a good idea to put in the middle. So I'm going to put 1 here, I'm going to put level 2 here, and I'm going to put level 3 right there. Okay. And now I need to create a link that links to these 3 slides. So level 1, I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to hyperlink, and I'm going to come down here and link it to slide 2. And then level 2 here, I'm going to go ahead and hyperlink that. So it goes to slide 3, because that's my second level. And then level 3, I'm going to hyperlink it to slide 4. Okay, so now when I watch it, I can go to level 1 and it takes me to the slide, which there's nothing there yet, so that's kind of boring. All right, now once we are in the you lose section, okay, the you lose is what happens when you hit the wall or you make a mistake and you have to go back. So we're going to do an action button for this one. So we're going to go to Insert Shapes, and we're going to do the one that says Return. Okay, this will just do whatever the previous slide you were on. That way you can use the same button whether they're on level 2, 3, or 4. It'll just take them back to whatever level they were just on. Just takes them to the last viewed slide. So there is that, and I'm going to go ahead and add a bevel to that one as well. I don't remember which bevel I did before, but okay, and we'll decorate this and make it look fancy later, but that's our you lose slide that lets us start again. And then I'm going to create one more, and I'm going to do an insert shape, and this time I'm going to do a home shape. And that will take me back to my very first slide, which is totally fine. That's what I want, okay? So now if I go to level 2 and I mess up, I have nothing to mess up on, but I can go to you lose, it will take me back to my last slide. And then I can click on you win, and that will take me to my main slide. Now, the next thing you need to do is turn off mouse click. We're going to go to transitions, and you're going to come over here where it says mouse click, and you're going to click that off, and you're going to apply it to all. So what that does is it means that when I click, it doesn't work. It doesn't take me to the next slide. I have to push the button to get to the next slide. Now you can still use your arrow keys. You know, there's a little cheat there. You can use your arrow keys to get around, but you can't click because you might accidentally click when you're in the middle of the maze, and then you get moved to the next thing and you didn't mean to, and you just lost all your progress, right? So that way you have to move by mouse click. All right, the next thing we're going to do is get our starting point for our first maze. So my first maze is in this corner, which means my starting point needs to be in the same spot, because when I click on this, that's where my mouse will actually turn up, okay? So then I need to say, okay, slide 2, and then I have to ask myself, do I want it to be set so that if I complete level 1, it automatically sends me to level 2, which I think would be great. If I'm doing that, then that means it also has to end where level 2 starts. Okay, so that means that for my first slide, I have to start here and I have to end here, right? And then when I click, it'll take me to level 2 and so forth. And same with this one, I need to start here for level 2 and end here. And then level 3 doesn't matter because I'll be done, okay? So next thing, we're gonna go ahead and create some walls. What? So now that I'm on level 2, I'm gonna go ahead and right click and format background. When you're adding a background, you don't want something obnoxious like this. It's gonna be really hard to see what you're doing. So a gradient might work. Solid color is probably best. Something very, very light and easy to get around. And this is my pink level, so I'm gonna make everything pink. So I'm gonna do a light color for that. And then I might want to do the same thing here for each of these, just so I remember which one is which. So my second level is my blue level. Oops, that's not blue. So I might argue that that's definitely blue. And then this is my purple level, right? So I've got my 3 colors here, okay? And now I've got to create one more button that is my exit button, the button that says you're done. So I'm going to go to insert and I'm going to grab a shape and I'm going to put it where this one is. So I'm going to stick it right here. And that's going to say exit. Okay. Now you can choose here if you want the exit when they finish the maze, if they complete it. Do you want them to go back to the first slide, or do you want them to automatically advance to slide 3, or do you want them to go to you win? So you probably want to have them go to you win or go to slide 3. Okay. So you could do 2 buttons. You could have one here that says level 2, right? I think that's probably a good idea. Or you could say exit, and then they can just choose which of those buttons they want to go to. I don't care so much about exit, or you could put it in exit at a different place because exit just gives them the UN slide. And if they want to go to level 2, they have to get here. So you can decide, how you want to do this. I'm going to put them together, but that's where I'm going to end. And I'm going to take that level 2 and I'm going to hyperlink that to slide 3, the next level. Okay. And then the exit one, I'm going to hyperlink that to the UN slide. Okay, so now it's all set to go. I go to level 1, I do my whole maze. If I win, I go to exit. It says you win, yay, and then I get to start over. Or I do my whole maze, I can go to level 2, and I'm ready to try to complete this one. Okay, if we want to complete the process, we can. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste those. Oh, goodness, I'm having issues. Okay. Why is it doing that? I'm going to go ahead and copy those and paste them here. Now this time I want it to go to slide 3, so they need to be over here. I need this level 3. That's going to be level 3. I need it to be where that one is. I need it to be, you might have to check it later, but it needs to be about where that one is so that that's where it'll take me. And then my exit I can put here, and I'm going to make those different colors. Okay, and then my final one, I'm going to highlight those and copy them and come to level 4 or level 3. Level 3 has to start here, and it doesn't actually matter where it exits. So I know it starts here. I'm going to put the exit back in this corner. Okay, and I'm going to I don't need a level 2, and the exit's going to take me to the main page that says you won. Okay, so now I have all my buttons set to go. I can get through the whole thing. Level 1, I complete it. I can go to level 2, I complete it. I go to level, I need to set those. Forgot. So I need to change this one to say 3, and I need to hyperlink that so we can edit that link and send that one to slide 4. There we go. Okay, so now it's all set. So I can go here. If I finish the maze, I go to level 2. If I finish the maze, I go to level 3, and then I can exit, and I won. Okay, so make sure you have all your buttons set up that way. You can always edit them later or move them later. If you once you start making your maze, you realize there's something you would have rather done. I'm going to go ahead and add a background to this main page. Nothing bugs me more than kids turning it in with no background. It's just sheer laziness, if you ask me, especially when you've come to this level of knowledge of the program. Okay, so there I go. I've got my maze ready to go. Okay, we're going to start out with making some walls. So you're going to insert and do shape. Click on the square. Okay, absolutely required. Do the square. Don't do anything but the square. You're going to click on that and you're going to drag it and just make a little box. Doesn't really matter what size. Now we're going to do a couple things to this. First, we're going to get rid of the outline. Make sure you get rid of the outline because you want your walls to be able to be on top of each other and not be obvious where they're all coming from. And then the next thing you want to do, this is a new feature that we've never done before. You're going to go to Home, and you're going to go to, no, insert, sorry. You're going to go to insert and go to action, okay? So the action, we're going to do a mouse over. So we've done clicks where if you click on it, it takes you to a hyperlink. That's the only one you've done. There's also one called mouse over where just touching it makes you hyperlink. So instead of clicking a mouse over, don't forget to put mouse over. Where it says hyperlink to, you're going to change that. You're going to go to slide and you're going to choose you lose. Click OK and OK. Now to test this out, I'm going to go ahead and watch it. I go to level 1 and if I hit it, it pushes me to the you lose. It automatically takes me to the you lose slide. And also test it. If it sends me back, oh, do you see my problem? If it sends me back, I'm over here. My cursor's not in this corner. So we need to fix that. So I need to make sure I put this. I'm going to stick my you lose in the middle. I need to have this where level 1 is to restart level 1. Otherwise, I'm going to have problems. I probably want to have one here for level 2 and here for level 3 as well. And I'll go ahead and color code those so they know what they are. So that way, if they return, they're going to return in the right spot, because that's kind of important that they come to the right spot. Otherwise, they can't really do the maze anymore. So there's that one. And here's my purple one. Oops. Okay. All right. So now when I go through it, level 1, I hit it. And then when I click here, it puts my mouse back where I wanted it. So if I go to level 2 and I mess up, it'll send me back to the same place. Okay, so now I have my first one. And this one matters because everything from here on, you're going to be copying this. Okay, so we're going to do a really simple one to begin with. I know my mouse is going to be about right here. Here's my first wall. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick some walls in here. So I'm going to copy that and paste it. And paste it. And paste it. Okay, and then maybe this one I'll make... let's see. Now I got a problem because it's not quite going to work. So I need one more. And because I'm pasting it, it's taking everything with it. It's taking all of the settings that I created with it. Okay, so now I've got a very, very basic maze. If I watch it, I go here, I have to go around and then around with my mouse and around and around and around. And then I can go to level 2. All right, we're now ready to create our first type of obstacle, and this is an emphasis obstacle. So first you have to create something to be your obstacle. So I'm going to go to insert and do shape, and I'm just going to do something really simple, the little Pac-Man shape. I'm going to stick him right here. Okay, so there's my Pac-Man shape. I can make him look however I want. Maybe get rid of the outline. I always hate the outline. Add a bevel or something, make it stand out in some way. Okay, so there's my Pac-Man shape, and I need to go to home. Any obstacle I create, I have to go back to insert and add that action. Don't forget the mouse over action. And I need to hyperlink that to the slide that is my you lose slide. Okay, so there it is. And now it's obviously in the way. I'm not going to be able to get past it. It's an obstacle that I have to get around. So what I'm going to do is use an animation. So I'm going to go to animations, and I'm going to go to animation pane, and I'm going to choose one of my emphasis. Now, a lot of these aren't teeters, probably not going to work very well, but spin works great. Okay, that's something that it can spin around, right? But I need to make sure it's making it possible for me to get through it. Okay, so if I watch that again, I'd have to get my mouse here and go around. So it might work. So I'm going to go ahead and go into start with previous. Okay, you want it to be running as soon as the slide opens. I'm going to go over to timing. And I'm going to change the repeat till end of slide, which we did in the last lesson. You can also decide how fast you want it to go. How hard you want it to be. The faster it is, the harder it's going to be to get around, right? And then I'm going to decide which direction it goes. So I could come over here to effect, and I could decide if I want it to go counterclockwise. I think in this case, I actually want to keep it clockwise. So I click OK, and it's going around like that. Okay, now let's test it out. You can do a lot of testing in this game. Click on one. There's my thing. Kind of have to wait a second, then I get in, and I can go around, right? But if I touched it, I would get sent to the you lose slide. Okay, so that is the first one, an emphasis obstacle. Let's do another emphasis obstacle that's a little different. So we'll do another one. Let's do some arrows right here. Okay, and again, get rid of your outline. No outline. Okay, let's go over to emphasis and see. Now, not often, like pulse isn't going to do anything. Like there's no way that's going to stop me from going by. So that's not really the best one. So let's go look over at our more entrance effects and see which ones might work. Anything that's like changing color and stuff, not useful, not useful. Blink though, blink is pretty awesome. Okay, I'm going to go to blink. and I'm going to click OK. And maybe I will stick it like right there. Okay. So now that it says blink, I'm going to go over to Effect Options, and I'm going to go to Timing. I want it to go till the end of the slide. And the duration, how fast it is, I don't want it to be too fast because I want to be able to get past it. So I'm going to set it to slow, and I'm going to set it to with previous. Okay, so it blinks and it comes back. Okay, and now when I play it, oops, I go through. There's my blink. I have to wait, like it goes away just long enough for me to get here. And then I can go underneath it. So I probably want to make that a little bit longer so it's harder, right? So that's two different kinds of emphasis obstacles that you can do. I'm looking at the list here, and I think the only other one that might work is maybe grow shrink. It goes bigger and smaller. In fact, let's do one like that. I want to make sure you've seen all of the options you can do. So let's say I do one that is a little box right here. Okay, and I'm going to make it just a little bit too big, like really hard to get around, right? And I'm going to add in my animations, I'm going to do, not pulse, just kidding. I'm going to go to animations, and I want to do the grow shrink. Okay, so it's making it a lot bigger. I'm going to actually make it small enough that I could get past it, and then it will grow and shrink better. Okay, so let's play that, and it's going to get that big. Okay, so let's go back into timing and do on click, and I want it to be with previous. So it's just running all the time and always repeat. Always going to repeat till the end of the slide. Pretty much all of them, that's going to be how it works. And because it repeats, it's going to go in and out and in and out. So now when I play it, it's just growing and then shrinking. Oh, but you see the problem? It kind of blinks back. Okay, I don't really like that. So I'm going to figure out a better way for that. I'm going to go back to timing, effect options, and I'm going to set it to, I want it to go a little faster, by the way. I'm going to do fast on that. And I'm going to click on effect and click on auto reverse. Okay, so what that does, oh, and then this is size as well. I want it to go a little bit bigger than that. So I'm going to go, I'll say 200%. I don't know if it'll let me type it in. So we'll try huge. Oh, custom right there. So I'm going to type maybe 250 and see if that's the size I want. Okay, there we go. Just like that. Okay, so now when I watch it, okay, I got to go through this. It's getting big, and I have to get through before it gets too small, right? And then I have to get around this one. Make sure I get it this time. Okay, so those are three different kinds of emphasis that you can do. All right, let's move on to motion path emphasis. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and find something that can be moved. So I'm going to insert again. I'm using shapes mostly for this, but I want you to keep in mind you can use anything. You can use shapes, you can use icons, pictures, whatever you want. So we're going to start with shapes, and then I'll do some with pictures. So we're going to go ahead and do just another square, and we're going to draw a square like that. And again, get rid of the outline. We'll put it down here. Okay, and I'm just going to make like 3 of them. Okay, and now I'm going to add a motion path to it. So I'm going to go to animations, and I'm going to do motion paths. And in this case, I think I'm just going to do a basic line motion path. It's going to go down like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do this one, which is a line, and this one, which is a line. Okay, now it's going a little farther than I'd like. I don't want it to go quite that far, so I'm going to use my little arrow to pull this up. So this way it's going to, I basically have to go through it twice. So, oops, make sure you grab the red arrow there. I have to go through it twice. Okay, so now I want to set this one again to, all 3 of them are the same. So I'm going to set them to start with previous. I'm going to go to timings, and I want to set it to repeat until end of slide. So that's kind of always the case. Now the problem is that they're all kind of going the same and they bounce back. Okay, so I've got to come in here and do auto reverse, but they're still like they're all going together. That's too easy, right? So I'm going to change them a little bit. So this one, the middle one, I'm going to go to effect options, and maybe I'm going to make that one a little bit faster. So I'm going to make that fast. And then maybe my last one, I'm going to go to timing, and I'm going to set a delay on it for like a second. Okay, so now when I watch it, they're going at different levels, right? Okay, and now I've got to be like, oh, there's that, and there, in there, right? So going at different times, you kind of have to pay more attention. I might want to make one faster because that's a pretty easy one, but that is me using a motion path. Now let's try something with a picture. I'm going to go to insert. Now let's go get a picture from online. One of the things that I have to warn you about pictures is that the outside of you got to understand how the background works. So I'm going to type in, I don't know, duck, okay? Not duck, duck, go, just duck, okay? And I'm going to do an image search. And I'm going to go to tools and color and transparent. I want a transparent background so it, you know, it's a little bit better. And let's go ahead and click on, I don't know, I don't like any of these. I'll click on this one. Okay, so there's my duck. I'm going to copy that and paste it in. Now, what you have to understand is when I paste it in, the edge is where this edge is. It's not where the edge of the duck is. So if they were to like put their cursor here, it's still going to do that mouse roll over. So you want to crop it down as tight as you can. So I'm going to go to crop, and I'm going to just crop it as close to the edge as I can get. Okay. So there's that, and I might actually go into remove background and get, well, I don't know. Oh, I'm just going to crop this so I don't have the blue part that's kind of getting in the way. Anyway, okay, so there's my little picture. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to use an obstacle here. So I'm going to go to animations. I'm going to do obstacle, and this time I'm just going to go and choose one of their presets that goes in like a circle or something. And you've noticed you've got ones that have two sides. So there's one that's got a different side, that's got two ends, and then you've got some that they all come back to where they started. Okay, if it's got two ends, then I have to do that auto reverse thing so that it will bounce right back. If it's only got one end, I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to do this little crescent moon one. Okay, and I can edit it a little bit if I want, but I can move it a little bit if I want. Okay, so now that one's set to go. I click here. And by the way, there's a little trick. If you right click, it pauses it and you can just move your mouse down because it gets to be really difficult to keep testing all the time. Oh, I didn't set it though. Did you see that? I missed it. So kind of got to do that. So we're going to do start with previous, go to effect options, and we want it to repeat till end of slide. And there we go. All right, so let's try that one out. Here we go. Gonna skip ahead. Oh, there it is. And I have to manage to get around it. It's kind of tricky. Okay. Now there was one other way you can use a motion path that I've used before that's kind of a reverse of everything else. So I'm gonna copy and paste this wall and create a thick wall right here that you cannot get past. Okay. And so in order to get past it, this has got a rollover on it. There's no way you can get past it. I'm not going to put any animation on it, but I am going to put something that doesn't have an animation. So I might get another shape. Maybe we'll do an icon for this one and something that you have to write an elephant, I guess. So I'm going to do a little elephant right here. Let's switch him the other way so that he's easy to ride. Okay. So I have this little elephant, and the elephant does not have that restriction. You can click on the elephant just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and insert or do an animation that is a straight line, and I'm going to send it this way. So basically it's like a pathway to get past this blockage, right? I have to ride the elephant across the package. So I'm going to go in here and do effect options, and again I have to do all the same stuff I always do. Start with previous, repeat until end of slide. I definitely want this one to do auto reverse, so it's going back and forth, okay? And then I can ride that elephant across. So the way that works is when I get to it, let me skip ahead here. So I wait for the elephant to come, I put my cursor on it, and then I follow it, and it lets me off. So it's the only way that I can get past it. So that's another way, something along those lines that you can create to use the motion path. All right, the third one that I'm going to show you is a trigger, which we did in the last lesson. And triggers are one of the funnest things you can do in here. I just love triggers. The most simple one is to do like a door they have to open. So I'm going to copy and paste my my wall again, and I'm going to make a little door right here that they have to click to open. Okay. So in order to open that door, I'm going to add some sort of animation on it that makes it, actually I want to do an exit on this one to make it go away because the door's always there. And then if you do what I ask you to do, it will go away. And I'm actually going to make that split the other way so it opens like a door. Okay. And now they have to click on a button to get that door to open. So now I'm going to create my button. So I'm going to just draw a little shape Stick it right here. And you might want to say like push or something so people know like this is a button, not an obstacle, or maybe make it look different in some way. So it's clear that it's not the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bevel on it. Okay. So now this has got my animation, and this is one of the times where you really do want to name it. Okay. So I'm going to go to home. I'm going to go to my select and selection pane, because I've got lots of things that have that name and that can get lots of ovals. It's hard to know which is which. So I'm going to call that push so I know that's the right one. And now I can go back to my animation pane. Here's my thing here. And this is one time where I don't have to do anything else to it. I'm just going to click on it. I'm going to go to animations, go to trigger, on click of, and then I have my push button. Okay. So now when I watch it, let me skip ahead here. I come here, and if I push this button, then that opens and I can get to my next level. But we don't want to make it that easy, right? That's too easy. So I'm going to take my push button, and I'm going to add an effect to it, and I'm going to do some sort of motion path. So I'm going to do a custom path, and I'm just going to go like this and drop. Okay, there's my custom path. So same thing I've always had to do. I'm going to go into timing, and I want it to be with previous. I want it to repeat until the end of the slide, and I want to auto reverse it. Okay, so now when I watch it, when I go to play, I have to catch it. Like I have to actually catch it in order to start it. Okay, so that's another way to use a trigger. Okay, one other way you can do a trigger is you can surprise people. This one's kind of mean, but I'm going to do another wall over here. I'm going to put it right there. Okay, and then I'll create another push button over here. So let me just make another trigger really quick. And this time we'll do this one. Okay, so remember you want to animate the thing you want to move, not the button. The button doesn't get animated unless you're making it hard to catch. But in a trigger, you want to focus on doing the right things. And call this push 2 so we know which one is right. You want to make sure that you're focusing on the removal of this. So I'm going to do transition or animation. I'm going to have this exit like I did before. This time we'll just have it do a wipe. And then I want to set it so, let me go in here and set that. So there's that trigger on click of push 2. Okay, so that one's set, yay, but I want to do something in addition to that. I want to actually create something a little bit like shocking there. So I'm going to have let me go to the internet here and type in like a bear. Okay, we're gonna have a bear waiting there. So I'm going to go to images. Again, it's a good idea to go to tools and size. Color, and do transparent, so you're getting transparent pictures. So I'm going to grab this bear, I'm going to copy him, put him over here, and again I want to crop it down as tight as I can get because I don't want them to, you can think that you're not touching it, but you are, because you're touching the square around it. So if somebody were to touch right here, it's gonna send it off. It's gonna do that. So sometimes you could even add a border so that they can tell where the edges are, so they know like I have to hit somewhere there. Okay, so this guy is going to come in, and I'm going to animate him to wipe, I guess. And he is also a trigger. So I want him to come in with the trigger, the same exact trigger. So I'm going to come and trigger him to the same button. So he's going to be triggered to push 2 as well. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and add another animation to him, and we'll do a custom path. If you're doing a custom path, you just have to double click when you're done. Okay. All right. So let's set that one to the same timing we always do with end of slide. Start with previous and auto reverse. Okay. So let's see what happens. Let's see if it works. So I'm going to click here. Oh, I don't want that. So the reason that's working is this needs to be part of this. I need to pull it down as part of my trigger, right? So that when he enters, then he starts moving at the same time. So I want this to be start with previous. So that's why he was showing up, and I didn't want him to. So now when I come down here and I push this button, all of a sudden, maybe, there he is. I have to push it twice. but there's my little button there and I have to get past him. So I don't want to have to click on him twice, so I'm going to come to this one and set this one to start with previous as well. Okay, let's see how that works. And this is really how this whole game works, is you just sit there and mess with things and try to figure out. So now this time when I pushed it, he came back. Like they both happened at the same time. And I could even add a sound to that, right? Like I could grab this when he enters and go to effect options and go to timing and add a sound. Or sorry, right here where it says no sound, I can put a sound there. So it might scare him a little bit because you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming, right? So I click on this and then there he is. He just kind of shows up, okay? And, oh, now here's the problem too, is that none of those things are working. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have not been putting the rollover on most of these. Like this guy, if I touch him, it's actually not doing anything, and it's not doing anything. Okay, and I did that on purpose actually, because I'm going to show you how to use, because you're going to do that. You're going to want to make stuff, and you forget to put the rollover on, and now how do I fix it? I'm going to have to go and do them one at a time. You don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my duck, and I'm going to go to insert, and go to action and do the whole thing, mouse over, hyperlink to, go to slide, and choose you lose, click OK. And OK, then I'm going to click on the other thing I want to do and just push the F4 function key. And it will copy, remember we learned this earlier, it will copy everything I've already done. So I want to make sure that I do that to all of these so I know that they all have that rollover attached. And I'm just clicking on it and pressing F4 and making sure, okay? So now it's set properly. When I click on this little guy over here, he's now going to send me off into La La Land, okay? So there we go, and I have all my obstacles. Now it's required that you have at least 5 obstacles, and I do. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 technically obstacles here, and I'm ready to go on to level 2. Okay, so I went ahead and started designing my level 2. I pulled some pictures in to do some fun things, and I just wanted to kind of show you what I was planning to do, and then we're going to do something with little puppy in a second here. So we're going to go ahead and make these so that you have to swat these flies to get them out of the way. So that's going to be triggers. So what I'm going to do is go to my animation pane, and I'm actually going to set each of these to be moving. So you have to catch the swatter. So I'm going to go to animations, and I'm going to go to custom path, and I'm just going to have it do this. Right, and then this one I'm going to add a custom path. And these are not going to have rollovers on them because I want you to catch them, right? Okay, so those are all set. I'm going to highlight them all with my control key and do start with previous. And then I'm going to go to timing, and I'm going to set all of them to auto reverse. Okay, so that's kind of cool. I might want to put a delay. Remember, you can just pull them to do delays. You don't have to actually type them in. You can do them differently like that. Test that out, and now they're all kind of going at different times, and they're all over the place with each other, right? And now I'm going to set these to all animate. So I want these to have I want them to disappear. So I'm going to put an exit on them. Okay. And then I'm going to create a trigger for each one. So I'm click of, and I already named these. So I'm going to do SWAT 1. And then this one is on click of SWAT 3. And this one is on, oops. SWAT 4. Oh, I do those backwards, but it doesn't really matter. And then SWAT 1. Okay. Okay, so now it's set, and these I need to make sure I've added a rollover. Notice I can do them more than one at a time. I just used, oh, it looks like I can't, so I got to do them one at a time. So action, mouse over to slide. So there is a lot of repetition in this. Like there are certain things you're just going to do a lot. So having shortcuts is always a good idea. So if I do the first one, then I can click on this, F4, F4, F4. And now let's try it out. I'm on level 2. I haven't done this one yet, but I just have to click on it. It's really hard to catch them. But if I catch them, oh, I forgot to repeat till end of slide. I need to do that. But anyway, now I can get past it, right? Okay, Next thing is this little puppy. So here's the thing. This one, I wanted to make sure you know you can crop to shape. So we're going to go to Picture Tools and we're going to crop, but we're going to do crop to shape. And this is the only way to make it not a square. Because, you know, when you pull a picture in, it's going to put all the square in like that, right? And you can't avoid the fact that the rollover is going to hit here. Let me make sure you understand how that works. So I'm going to go into Insert and Action, put that mouse over on it like we've been doing. Okay, so now if I do F5 and I get over here, even if I click right there, see, I didn't even touch it, but I still lost, right? I didn't even touch it. So it's going to send it off. And that's why you would want to put like you can't really cut it so that it's along the edge unless you use crop to shape, which again, you can't really do. This is too complex of a shape. You don't have the ability to cut it that way. But you can use crop to shape. Let me do this bring to front here. And now I have a little puppy that if you use the dog, you can get past it, right? So let's add an animation and we're going to do a custom path and I want it to be like this, right? And you can ride him up there and then you can get past the obstacle there. So start with previous and repeat. And this one's going to have an auto reverse. And this one does not have a little thingy on it. So here we go, F5. I'm going to go to slide to level 2. And if I want to get past that, then I need to get on it and come back up and I can get past it, right? Otherwise. So one last thing I wanted to point out is the use of 3D models. Don't forget that they also count as an object. They kind of have their own animation. So if you animate them, they have swing and turntable, which makes them move. And so they're kind of cool, the different things you can use. And they might have more depending on which one you pick. So when I run this one, I set this one up to the 3D model. I did it exactly the same as everything else we've done. Start with previous and until, you know, I made it slower than it was until end of slide. I could put it at different levels if I wanted to. And then I had it, I could auto reverse, but I had it repeat till the end of the slide. I can kind of decide different things like that, but then it's going to move like that. So it's kind of cool. So when I come in here for this one's kind of a beast. I'm not going to lie. Like I was crazy when I made this one. I just see, I can't even beat my own game, but it's really hard. Oh, I keep losing. I have to cheat to win. Just right click to get in there to test it, make sure it's working. Okay. And then I got to take the airplane here. Come on, airplane. Okay, there it is. Take my airplane. There we go. And then see how they're moving. I just have to get around them. And I've gone ahead and set a little setting on them so that they can, anyway. So you can use those and they work great. Finally, one thing you might also want to do is your pointer. When you go in here, if you sit for too long before doing anything, your pointer will eventually disappear, which becomes see, it's gone. That's a problem when if you're waiting for something to go. So you want to right click, go to pointer options and arrow options, and you want to make it visible. And that should change the settings. So now, no matter what, you're not going to lose your pointer as you go through if you have to sit and wait for a minute. It's going to send me off. All right. So there's lots of things to do. The possibilities are absolutely endless with all the things that you can create from this. And so just make sure that you are following your list and you are not doing anything like you're completing every single thing on the list. So in your assignment here, it shows all the things that you're supposed to know how to do. And then this is what's going to be on each slide. Make sure you go through and you've checked this box and you have done everything that it's asked you to do. You have a lose and win slide. You have three levels. You have 5 obstacles on each. Also make sure you go back and you do like design these pages, your title, your lose and win page to be more interesting than the way I've done them. Make sure you've actually designed it to match your theme so it fits the theme that you've done. For example, in my Disney maze, when you complete it, I'm just going to cheat and come over here. It sends me to, is it supposed to send me to the win page? No, it's not doing that. So when I get to the win, it sends me to this page, and it has a little you win page ready to go. And then if I mess up, it's got a you lose page, and it's been designed. And this one, I actually have the buttons that let me go back, to go to the next level. And I've made sure that those buttons are lined up in such a way that they are in the right spot to start my next one. So if I want to start here, it's going to go there. So you want to make sure those you lose buttons are lined up properly. And then I have included in the file lots of examples, including this Disney example that I have. That Disney example is, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty proud of it. It's kind of awesome. So that Disney example has a lot of ideas. If you go through and you play that, you might be like, oh, how'd she do that? How can I make mine do that as well? So make sure each level has at least one of the 3 types: an obstacle, an emphasis, and a motion path one. And obviously you can do more than 5. 5 is just the minimum. Okay, so there's your maze. It's super fun. I hope you enjoy it. It's a really good idea to have somebody else play it and point out things that don't make sense or aren't working. Sometimes you miss things because you know what it's supposed to do and you don't realize what it's actually doing. So have someone test it for you and make sure it's working correctly. When you save it, you just save it as a normal file. You don't need to do anything extra. Although if you were to save it as a show file, which we learned in the last lesson, so if you save it as a show file, that's actually really great, because then someone who does not have PowerPoint can still play it. It's just a show file. You save that, and then when somebody opens it, it just goes straight to the maze and doesn't do anything else. You don't have to open PowerPoint first. So that is how you make a maze game. Good luck. I hope you come up with something super awesome, and thank you so much for joining me.